Buyers are allowed to break contracts on defective projects. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your hashtag not sponsored cheap coffee, and we're going to have a look at a very interesting article discussing, the issues of, frankly, dodgy and defective construction in New South Wales, among other things. But here's one takeaway from this. If you want to get good defective-free construction, what do you do? Give more power to the government to inspect it. Give more power to certifiers. Give more power to clients. Give more power to architects. Yeah, definitely the architects. Or make people do courses and jump through hoops and do more paperwork and more licensing. Or let the banks feel the pain of these things going to shit. I think that's the one to do it. If you really want to make a difference to construction, put the burden on the banks. Years ago, and I'm talking years ago, this is old stories that I heard from university, the banks would dictate the construction requirements of projects because they were lending on it. Even the Royal Australian Institute of Architects, their project in Victoria they did, their new headquarters, the bank dictated the construction contract. So if you want good projects, make the banks feel the pain. If they don't, they'll just take advantage of the situation like they have been. Look at the education system in the US. Look at why the university degrees are so expensive. It's because the banks won't feel any pain. If students could instantly bankrupt themselves out of that debt because they've got a stupid shit degree and they can't get any qualifications, basket weaving or probably gender studies will get great cushy government jobs nowadays, but you know what I mean. If they could bankrupt out of it, then, the banks wouldn't be lending that much. So let's have a look at this one, because I think this is the right path to take. So buyers of defective Imperial Towers apartments in Sydney allowed to break contracts, recoup deposits in a radical first. Written by Amy Greenbank. Nearly 100 people who purchased defective apartments in Western Sydney, in a Western Sydney development, will have their contracts rescinded and deposits returned under a landmark agreement. The agreement struck between the New South Wales Building Commissioner and a developer in receivership is the first of its kind and designed to serve as a caution for financiers considering lending to risky developers. The two 22-story apartment high-rises in Parramatta, known as Imperial Towers, were nearing completion when government inspectors issued a prohibition order in mid-2021 after finding serious defects in the structure, waterproofing and fire safety systems. The order prevented apartment buyers from moving in, but they were also unable to break their contracts. 31-year-old Sydney man Patrick Wang paid an $80,000 deposit for a two-bedroom apartment off the plan. Always off the plan. Here's a question, should we make off the plan selling illegal? Should it not be allowed for apartments? Let me know in the comments, guys. We've been waiting for 7 years since we first got in. It's a big relief, he said. Mr. Hung, who purchased the two-bedroom apartment in Imperial Towers for his daughter, said he was pleased with the outcome. I'm so surprised and I'm so happy, he said. However, he said it was a protracted battle and consumer protections should be strengthened. Karen Stiles, executive officer of the apartment owners' peak body, the Owners Corporation Network, said it was an incredible breakthrough. It's a wonderful thing for these people. I cannot imagine the stress they have suffered, she said. The Imperial Towers were built by Sydney developer Meris through a subsidiary called Hassel Developments. The project was funded by Windgate, a private investment firm used by high net worth individuals. When Meris collapsed in 22, Windgate pulled its Hassel Development subsidiary into receivership to recoup its investment. However, it was unable to force buyers to settle on their apartments with the prohibition order in place. The developer said serious defects had been rectified prior to the receiver being appointed, but it wasn't enough. To see the order lifted and an occupation certificate granted, it agreed to a range of extraordinary measures. All existing contracts would be rescinded, deposits returned, and the apartments could not be sold again for 10 years, which is the statutory warranty period. Shit. Damn. There you go. Well, they've had enough. The number of defects in the construction sector coming out of New South Wales has just been insane. Any defects that emerged over the decade will need to be rectified and future buyers informed. It's quite radical, New South Wales Building Commissioner David Chandler said. He said it was a warning to lenders. You better pay more attention to the people you're loaning money to, because there could be consequences if you continue to lend money to risky players. Windgate was also permitted, through receiver Deloitte, to sell the entire complex to a single build-to-rent operator that adheres to the requirements, which it intends to do. A spokesperson for Windgate said in a statement it was pleased to have worked cooperatively with the building commissioner to reach this outcome, the first of its kind in the state. Converting the property to a build-to-rent asset helps to address the current housing shortage in New South Wales by providing further residential rental accommodation in Parramatta, which has a rental market at a vacancy rate of 1%. I mean, okay, that's fantastic, but here's the thing, everyone. Do you want large corporate owners of property, or do you want individuals? Where do you want the future path of Australia? There's two roads, young man. Which one, left or right? You pick. I'm worried we're heading more to large corporates. Buyers previously complained to the ABC they'd become trapped in their contracts after New South Wales Fair Trading revised a prohibition order. An initial order issued on July 1 prevented the developer from registering a strata plan, which could have allowed buyers to enact their sunset clauses and terminate their contracts. However, it was replaced 3 weeks later with an order that did not contain that specific clause. The strata plan was registered, making the contracts binding. Buyers have been seeking answers for almost 2 years, and the issue was scrutinised in the New South Wales Upper House inquiry into the regulation of building standards, with some MPs labelling it as stuff up. However, Mr. Chandler said he was unable to interfere with the registration of a strata plan. I have to have a credible relationship with the financial industry, and in introducing the RAB Act, Residential Apartment Building Act, they wanted me to be very committed to the fact I wouldn't interfere with the creation of real property, and that's what the registration of the strata plan did, he said. Mr. Chandler argued that while it was not his role to stop a strata plan being registered, he could prevent purchasers from being forced to settle on apartments they might later regret, which had been achieved through this agreement. We had to play by the rules, he said. These depositors will get money back and be able to get on with their life. It's unfortunate it's taken so long to achieve. Let's have a bit of a chat about this one, guys. I think this is a fantastic outcome for those buyers. There are many others that are, still waiting. Have we heard does anyone know what happened to Sugar Cube? I think they finally got that sorted. What about Zetlands? How long did that take? What about good old Mascot? I think that's still sitting there, last I heard. So this is a win for those buyers. But as I said, I think the lenders, the people financing these projects, need to, take on some of the risk. I think the banks that are doing it need to as well. They need to stop lending money to people investing in properties if they don't meet certain criteria. Like the older building code from the banks had literally building standards and requirements. Maybe we need to bring that back. What do you reckon? Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.